So now we start with the chapter coordination of the subject principles of management for BBA. The contents we are going to discuss here is concept of coordination, nature of coordination, essentials of coordination, principles of coordination, and techniques of coordination. Concept of coordination. Coordination is concerned with harmonious and unified action directed towards a common objective. It ensures that all groups and persons work efficiently, economically, and in harmony. Coordination requires effective channels of communication. According to Henry Fayol, to coordinate is to harmonize all the activities of a person in order to facilitate its working and its success. According to George Terry, coordination deals with the task of blending the efforts in order to ensure successful attainment of the objectives. It is accompanied by means of planning, organizing, actuating, and controlling. According to Neoman, coordination is a part of all phases of administration and that it is not a separate and definite activity. Coordination can be described as the invisible cord which runs through all the activities of the organization and binds them together. It is not a function of the management, rather, it is the essence of management, which is needed at all levels and at each step of the firm to achieve the objectives of the organization. Nature of coordination. Now, coordination is set to harmonize various activities of the enterprise to ensure smooth functioning of the enterprise. It is an effort to ensure the objectives of the business with minimum friction and maximum coordination among various segments of the business. Coordination is an effort to reach business goals by means of planning, organizing, actuating, and controlling various activities. It is not a separate managerial function. The exercise of each managerial function involves coordination. More so, coordination involves an orderly arrangement of the group efforts. It is a continuous process which has to be carried on by the managers. Otherwise, management becomes more of a piecemeal approach. Its purpose is to secure unity of action towards common objectives. It is the essence of managing. Each of the managerial function is an exercise in managing. The term coordination has been sometimes confused with the term cooperation. However, they cannot be used interchangeably because they have different meanings. Coordination is a deliberate effort by a manager, whereas cooperation is voluntary attitude of organizational members. Coordination is essential where a group of people work together for a common purpose. However, cooperation is voluntary in nature. It arises out of the desire of the people to work together. Coordination usually seeks wholehearted support of employees and departments, whereas cooperation without a proper coordination coordination efforts by manager between the people who are working under him is fruitless. Essentials of coordination. In reality, coordination is the essence of management. Coordination is better descriptive of managers' functions than management itself. Every managerial function needs coordination in itself, whether it is planning, whether it is organizing, whether it is directing, whether it is controlling. All of them require coordinated efforts of managers and the subordinates who work under him so as to make planning or organizing or directing or controlling functions a reality in the organization for the realization of the organizational aims and objectives. Coordination is a synchronization of the human efforts in an organization, and management too tries to correlate various managerial functions for achieving business objectives. Business goals will be achieved only when activities of various functions will be coordinated together, whether it is finance department, sales and marketing, production and operations, supply chain and logistics, human resource management, or any other department of the organization. It will be a collective effort of all the functions which will be instrumental in reaching the business goals. So, management itself is the synchronization of various activities being undertaken in the business. Every business function has some objectives. In order to achieve them, various activities have to be undertaken. Some more important and some less important activities are there. The functions of planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling comprise of the sub-functions or activities as well. Unless these activities and sub-activities of various functions are synchronized, the objectives of the organization cannot be achieved. Coordination may also call for reconciliation of the goals in the organization. The conflict of goals arises because everybody perceives organizational goals differently and tries to achieve them in their own way. A marketing person, a finance person, production and operations person, purchase department person, or a manager from the supply chain and logistics department, they would try to view the organizational goals in the context of the area which they are heading and try to achieve them in their own way. This may lead to confusion and chaos in the organization. Therefore, coordination of the efforts of different departments and creating a sense of interrelationship and interdependency between these departments, making it clear that how each department is significant for the other departments in the organization is very important. Therefore, coordination is necessary to bring the unity of action in the organization. It is also said that coordination can bring economy and efficiency in the organization. Coordination will avoid duplication of efforts, due to which there will be economy in the manpower used, the time, the equipment, materials which will be used. When the activities are properly integrated, there will be least amount of or number of delays, whether it is in decision making or whether it is in carrying out of the activities as per the plans that were laid down by the management. And this will bring efficiency in the business organization. Coordination is achieved through systematic efforts. Good coordination gives job satisfaction to the employees, which keeps their morale high. Moreover, there are good human relations because the authority responsibility relationships are clear. The conflict between line and staff personnel can also be avoided through proper coordination of their efforts. So, this is about the importance or the essence of coordination. Next, we come to is the principles of coordination. The first is the principle of direct contact. The activities of different individuals can be coordinated effectively through direct personal contacts. This helps in exchanging the opinions and ideas in a better way and clarifying the misunderstandings more clearly. Coordination can be achieved more easily by direct interpersonal contact or lateral relationships between people from different departments. Direct personal communications bring out agreement on methods, actions, procedures. The possibilities of conflict and misunderstanding always remain minimal if a direct contact is established between people from different departments whose activities are interdependent and interrelated to each other. Any kind of conflicts that arise due to the conflicting objectives and goals of two different departments can be removed or sorted out by personal direct contact between the heads of the department through periodical meetings. And this direct contact would further result in coordinating in a better way in the future period of time. Next is principle of early beginning. Coordination can be achieved easily during the early stages of planning and policy making. It becomes difficult to secure coordination at the execution stage. Principle of reciprocal relationship. All the factors in a situation are reciprocally related. The work of one person is dependent on that of the other, who in turn may be dependent on some other. For instance, A works with B and he in turn works with C and D. The relationship of all the four will be reciprocal. In the absence of coordination among them, the work of everyone will suffer very badly. Similarly, other factors like materials, finance, sales, production will be dependent upon one another. When members in an organization realize that all factors are reciprocally related, then coordination becomes easy. Principle of continuity. Coordination should be a continuous process, starting with planning and running through the other managerial processes. It is something which must go on all the time. It should be viewed as a never ending process, and every manager should strive to do it constantly. It is not necessary like reconciling conflicts as and when they arise. Coordination cannot be left to a sheer chance that it will take place on its own, but the management have to make deliberate efforts to achieve coordination. Managers cannot just practice coordination between the efforts of their subordinates within their department, within the departmental activities for one day and then leave it for a very long period of time, because that would lead to chaos in the department. Next we come to is the techniques of coordination. Now, every management will try to improve its working through proper coordination of work. The aim of every managerial function will be to reach organizational goals, and this is facilitated only through coordination. The purpose should be to achieve effective coordination. Some of the techniques used for achieving uh, effective coordination are discussed below. First, goals are well defined. The goals of the organization should be clear and well defined. Everybody should know the objectives and his contribution towards the achievement of these objectives. They should be very clear on how their job, where does their job fit into the workflow in their department, how they are contributing towards the workflow in the department, what is the significance of their job, how their duties and responsibilities are related or dependent on another person's duties and abilities, what is the sequence of their duties and responsibilities, because without the understanding of these things, achieving coordination would not be possible, because a unity of purpose towards the department, a unity of purpose towards their job will not get established without all this information being clear. Second is simplified organization. The organizational structure should clearly define the authority and responsibility of each and every person. This will help in reducing conflicts among persons. Over specialization of activities also creates problems of coordination. There should be a well defined organization charts, job descriptions, work manuals, etc., for avoiding any type of misunderstanding. Coordination will be achieved when there are clear lines of authority and responsibilities. Effective communication. Now, effective communication is the essence of creating coordination in the organization. It helps in proper understanding among persons whose work needs to be coordinated. Through communication, every individual understands his scope, limitations, his position in the organization, and his relationship with the others. How his actions, how his activities in the organization are going to affect the other co-workers within his department become very clear to him through communication, which comes from managers, from co-workers themselves, that is basically from his work group. Regular communication among various persons helps in resolving the conflicts and differences. People can understand the viewpoint of others in the organization. Next is effective supervision. Coordination can also be facilitated by effective supervision. Supervisor is the person who constantly watches the work of his subordinates. He can adjust the workload, provide guidance to his subordinates if the situation demands. A supervisor is an important person in coordinating the work at execution level. He will keep the overall objectives of the organization in mind and will direct the work of his subordinates in that direction. Other than that, cooperation is, as I said, something which is also very important for bringing about coordination. If there is no voluntary cooperation on part of the employees, if they don't want to mutually help each other, trust each other, do not understand how they are dependent on each other, the mutual dependency is not clear to them, and consider themselves as mutually exclusive, different, independent of each other, then in that case, bringing about coordination in their activities is very difficult task. Cooperation can be brought about by the managers by forming harmonious relationships among the employees, by telling them to interact with each other frequently, by giving them certain activities which wherein they share the work, giving certain small assignments or projects where they have to work together as a team, so that the essence of cooperation becomes clear to the employees. So with this, we basically come to the end of this particular chapter or this lecture. So we basically here summarize the fact that coordination is essential at every level of management. It is not just at the lowest level that the coordination, or the operative level, that the coordination becomes essential. It is a process of group efforts of business, group efforts of people working in the organization, that the coordination can be achieved. The quality of management, or what kind of managers we have in organization, also gets reflected in the fact that the managers are able to coordinate the activities of the employees very well. Smooth working and achievement of departmental or sectional or unit wise goals will always depend upon sound coordination between these departments. Coordination can help in achieving better relationships between employees, between managers and subordinates. It helps in bringing cordiality in the organization between the departments. A sense of coordination in the organization can bring about more mutual discussions taking place in the organization between departmental heads, between people from different departments, and better personal relationships and clarity on how we are interrelated to each other ultimately helps in better performance of the employees. increases the morale of the employees, and thereby increases the job satisfaction of the employees as well. Coordination also is said to create unity of direction. It motivates employees to view their work from the standpoint of the organization. Therefore, managers need to reconcile differences between employees. They need to handle situations of conflict between employees. Departmental heads need to handle the situations of conflict and misunderstandings between two departments or between three departments, so that smooth functioning can be ensured and coordination can be brought about. So with this, we end up this lecture on coordination.